A little bit about us, we are a growth partner. I don't look at ourselves as just a marketing agency. Yes, we do advertising. We advertise on all the major platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Google, TikTok, which is kind of like the hottest thing right now. Plus, we also do done-for-you lead nurturing. We follow up with leads for our clients, so that way you folks just have to focus on converting people that come in the door. And then most relevant for today, we have coaches on our team that have managed 6 gyms simultaneously with multiple locations that have had over 1,000 members using the strategies that we're going to be talking about today. So let's dive into all of that. First thing I want you to think about, though, is take a minute to reflect. Have you ever had a time of year where it's slow, cancellations are increasing? Right? A time where you wish that you can boost your leads or your membership signups so you don't feel the pain of these cancellations. Anybody had that before? Anybody possibly feeling that, right now in the summertime? I can't even see where everybody is, but I'm assuming right now, summer, I see Johnny saying that. What's another common time that we see this? Kind of like Q4, right? October, November, December. Fitness is not the cool thing at that time of year. So what we want to be thinking about here is that a solid business has multiple channels to grow from, ideally 5. And think about it as like a 5-legged chair. If you have a 5-legged chair and you pull one of those legs out, that chair is still going to stand. But the unfortunate truth is that what we find with most gyms that are out there is we really only have kind of like 1-2 channels going, which is usually paid advertising and referrals, right? But if you pulled that leg out, such as if you stopped your advertising all of a sudden, then you can still get some member referrals, but eventually those member referrals are going to dry up and you need to get more people in the door to create new members to get more referrals from. So I'm going to assume all of you are doing digital advertising. If you're not, you need to. If you're not, give us a shout. We'll be more than happy to help you with that. But what you need to do is develop offline strategies to keep your pipeline full of new prospects at all times. So the first question I really want you to think about here is that, are you the unofficial mayor of your town? What does that mean to you guys? I'm opening it up here. Victoria, can you make sure people are unmuted so they can kind of speak up on this one? When I ask you that, are you the unofficial mayor of your town? What do you guys think when you hear that?
I would say that it's, bragging about yourself and promoting yourself.
Perfect. Thank you, Anne.
I would say it's knowing everybody in your community and reaching out to them and talking to them.
Perfect. Thank you, Lindsay. I think we pretty much hit the nail on the head here, right? We want to be known in our community, right? So let's get back to the presentation here. Whoops. You want to be, the goal is for your business to be known in your community. And you probably also maybe know somebody like this in your community, or maybe even a bit smaller, like let's say like your plaza. Like everybody knows John, he owns the bakery in the plaza, and like everybody kind of just knows him. The goal here is for us to be known as not just a business, but as people, because at the end of the day, a business is people. Google's a big company, but it's all made up of a whole bunch of people. Our gym is still, yes, it's a business, but we are made up of people. We want people, when they think about us, that they think not just of our gym, they think about, oh, that's Sandy's gym over there, or, that's Sandy's gym over there. Like, we want them to think about those personalities and be known. So the goal is to be known in our community. And this takes a little bit of work up front, right? So the first thing that, the true or false statement here, the best team members / salespeople never have to leave the studio. Is this true or false to you guys?
False.
False. We have a false. Anybody think true?
We've got some falses in the chat.
We got some falses. Then Johnny said, get out in the community. So the answer is, it's a little bit of both, right? The best team members will go out and create relationships with other businesses. And over time, you'll rarely need to go back out, and you'll just continue to work your referral relationships, work your partnerships. So it's a little bit of a true and a false in that answer. It's a bit of a trick question on it. With that, it's the idea here that we're thinking about. It's hunting versus farming. In the beginning, like, if you have not created any kind of relationships in your community, or if you're just a newer gym, you're going to be starting off in a hunting position where you have to go out in the community, create those relationships. And that's something that you do for a few months. But ideally, you set yourself up to be in a position where now you are just farming, where you're just nurturing those relationships and generating business opportunities from them. So again, we're doing a little bit of both here. We're going to start off as hunters, and then we're going to focus on farming once we've established the right kinds of relationships. So let's take a deep dive here into partnerships. So before you begin, right, again, we have to go out and become the mayor of our town. So go out and meet other businesses so you can start the relationship. And a big thing here that you're going to hear me hit on multiple times during this is that we have to date before we propose marriage for any of these kinds of relationships. I'm sure there's some people here that have created some sort of partnership, and now you're looking back on it and you're like, we haven't really gotten much from that in a while. I think I might have to go back and talk to that person, right? We want to set the stage in advance so that we avoid those kinds of situations, and it's easier to have those kinds of conversations with these people, but also just setting up the right kind of expectations for how these relationships are going to operate. So a couple of key things here in terms of our partners, what they should be and what they should not be. In terms of what they should be mutually beneficial. They should benefit your member experience, and they should provide leads or insane exposure for your business. And it's extremely important that it always hits on these three things. The reason why I say this is that, we have clients that are probably, maybe some of them are on this call, but, one that specifically comes to mind where they had a partnership with a chiropractor. And the relationship was the chiropractor would come into the gym after their Saturday workout, and they would do massages, cracks and backs and stuff like that. And the chiropractor got a lot of business from this, but the gym was not getting business from the chiropractor. But the gym wrote it off in their head mentally because it's well, there's a member benefit here, right? This is enhancing our member experience. This is really cool. People are happy about it, but we're still not getting a one-to-one value exchange. Right now, if you want to set up a relationship like this, I'm not saying that you can't do a relationship like this, oh, let's just create a nice little perk for our people. That's fine. But really, when we're thinking about partnerships here, there should be a one-to-one value exchange. If they are getting business from my members, I need to be getting business from their members. What it should not be as well is should not require you to pay. That's going to be a sponsorship, which we're going to be talking about later. But a partnership should be a mutual value exchange that we're getting from each other on some level. It also should not put your members in an uncomfortable situation within your facility. A specific example here would be Chris on our team. He had a partnership with a meal prep company. And so the meal prep company came into the gym, and this was actually somewhat of a good relationship because they were getting business from the meal prep company. But this meal prep company came into the gym, and they're hard selling their members on their meal prep service. This is something that is taking away from your membership experience. Again, remember, what are the three things it should be? Should be mutually beneficial. It should benefit your member experience as well. If it's not benefiting your member experience, you need to either reconsider that relationship or set some ground. And this is another important thing we want to talk about here, is that any of these relationships that we're creating, we want to set some expectations. Okay, I'm going to allow you to come into my gym Saturday after our workout. Here's how our community operates. We don't do hard selling. This is how we deal with people. This is how I expect things to be carried on our end. And let me know how you would like us to proceed when we come into your meal prep business or anything like that, so that we are in alignment with your brand. And then it should never ask for access to your facility or your members without something in return. Again, partnerships need to always have mutual value exchange. 1 second. So where to start? As I mentioned before about dating before marriage, is that consider setting up all of your partnerships on a trial basis for 3 months. You can do 90 days. You can even do shorter, 60 days or 30 days, because many of your partnerships are going to start off strong and they're going to fizzle out. And we don't want to create something and then we have to come back to it later and have that uncomfortable conversation after 6 months and we forgot that we're not really getting something out of this. So again, set it up with any of the relationships that you're going to create. Say hey, let's try this out for 60 days. Let's try this out together for 90 days and see how things go. And so tying into that, our types of partnerships, we have 6 different kinds of partnerships: affiliate, referral, access, that means facility access, sponsorship, joint ventures, and corporate. So the first one I want to hit on here is affiliate partnerships. Now, what you'll see is a common theme in all of our partnership opportunities is we want to look for our most, like our low-hanging fruit. Now, an affiliate partnership is one where you provide a kickback or compensation in exchange for leads. And turning it to you guys here, where is the first place that you think that you should look for as an affiliate partnership? Does anything come to mind when I say that? Do you have any members that are huge fans of yours? Nobody has any fans?
Customer base.
Customer base? Exactly. That's the first place you would want to look here. And I'll give an example again of Chris on his team. He had a member. I would first look at, hey, who are my members that are constantly referring people to my gym? In Chris's situation, he had this one member that was constantly bringing new people in and just bringing them in the day of and say, hey, do you have a space for this person in class? And after he noticed that she had done this a few times, he approached her and asked her about like, hey, like, where are you getting all these people from? Like, who are all these people? And it turns out that she was in a sorority. And so she was bringing a lot of her sorority sisters. And after talking to her further about this, Chris realized that she also had access to a whole bunch of other sororities in which she can bring in people from. So this is, this is the perfect kind of person that we want to think about. Like, who are already doing, who are the people that are doing the action that we want them to do, but they're already doing it for free. That's the first place you would look at here and find out more about what's going on with them and where are they getting these people from, and then create an incentive for people. And I would not get stingy with this kind of referral relationship. Yes, if you think that there's somebody that can be a real, call it a power partner to your business, that's the person we want to heavily incentivize, meaning that you could give this person just like, hey, everybody you refer, I'm going to give you a month free of your membership or a discount off of your membership. But what I want you to also just think about here is think about how much a customer is actually worth to your business. I'd imagine almost everybody here is in some level, like you're in group fitness, right? So your membership fee is going to be between $100 to $200. Let's call it an average of $150. If it's $150 and a member stays for 10 months, then one member is bringing in $1,500 worth of revenue to you, to your business over that year. If you know you have somebody that is very, very motivated and has access to a very, very strong network, I would look to incentivize them heavily. Probably give them like, hey, if you sign somebody up or if you bring in somebody and they become a member, I'm going to give you $150 cash for that. Because you give them the $150, that's essentially a free customer because you're getting $150 from the new member. And now you're going to collect the next 9 months of revenue. So the bigger the incentive is for the right kind of person, like don't be afraid to give them a huge incentive for that if they're going to be the right person for you. But again, start these all off on a trial basis, right? Moving next beyond that, with any partnership, we want to schedule a monthly check-in with them. So let's say that you do have this affiliate partner. You're like, hey, I love what you've been doing. You brought on a few people for me. I'm like, could we work out something where, you can bring more people and I will happily give you a commission for them. Let's try this out for 60 days. And then let's schedule this out on a, we'll do a once a month check-in to see how things are going. And we want to check in with this person to find out like, hey, how are the opportunities going? How's it going in terms of talking to people about the business? Do you have any more people that are in a pipeline? How can I help you further? Because let's work to help out our affiliate partners. Is there somebody that like, hey, they need a phone call from me? I'm happy to do a quick call with them to help you get in. Do you need me to shoot a video or something like that? If we have good partners, we want to support them because if they can support us, then we can support them back and they're going to bring in money for our business. Now, important thing here is that we don't want tons and tons of affiliate partnerships going on out there. Typically, you want to keep this around like 10 to 15 partners that you can manage. And then it also makes the conversation easier if, hey, you do this monthly check-in and you're talking to the person. It's like, hey, it looks like we haven't really had many people come in or we haven't had anybody come in the past 30 or 60 days. I think it's best that we discontinue the partnership so I can open up another spot for somebody else because we only allow 10 partners at the same time. So it makes it easy to come back and have that conversation if something is not working out. So again, structure it to only have like 10 or 15. We want to have monthly check-ins with these people to understand what the progress is, how things are going, how can I support you better to get more business in this way. And so outside of checking out our low-hanging fruit of who's in our membership base, who are our super fans in our base, the other places that we want to think of outside of that is troop leaders, so such as like Girl Scouts, like they have a troop leader, a mom in that group, the head of the PTA, other small business owners that share our customers, doctors, weight loss coaches. There's a lot of fitness coaches, nutrition coaches out there that all they do is really coach on nutrition, and they don't really have a workout that they really prescribe for somebody. That's a great person to partner with. Local influencers, moms groups, and of course, meal prep companies, another really important one because we share the same exact customer. And again, you can structure this however you want. You can give this affiliate monetary compensation, free access to the gym, or discount off the membership for every member that they bring in. We got a typo over there. I would avoid doing any kind of commission that is recurring for the person. I would avoid doing any kind of a commission that's recurring, because then that incentivizes them just to get somebody in, and then they can just live off of them, like the recurring commission that comes in. The only scenario where it might make sense is if the person's signing up on a month-to-month membership, because now that affiliate is incentivized to try to retain the member. But overall, for simplicity's sake, just make it a simple, you bring a member in, I give you X. I give you this off your membership, or I give you this discount, or I give you this kind of cash, whatever you want to do. But I would keep it just to an upfront thing. Now, moving on to the next, referral partners. Big difference between referral partner and affiliate partner. Affiliate partner, we're paying for something, right? With a referral partner, what you want to think about here is always ask yourself this question: what business would benefit long-term from their clients or customers being physically in better shape, physically or mentally? There's doctors, physical therapists that will tell somebody you need to work out. How much better would it be for them to be able to say, you need to work out, you should go check out X gym because I've been going there, the community is great. I think that's a good suggestion for you. So again, first off, start with your low-hanging fruit. See, do you have any, physical therapists, doctors that are already in your gym? Because they're going to be the easiest ones to push on this idea, because they're already comfortable with you, they're comfortable with your community. When we have to go out to find people that we don't know, there's going to be a bit more of a nurturing process where we're going to have to really establish a relationship and work this person as if you're working a lead, right? You have to work this relationship as if we're working leads to create these relationships. We have to hunt in the beginning so that we can start farming. And a very important thing here is that because this is a numbers game, just like everything else, know that the first business you approach will likely not say yes. It's 100% part of the game. That's okay, right? We're just playing a numbers game here, but just because you reach out to them and you don't hear from them, we're still going to follow up and reach out. Keep on going until you get a no. The next one's going to be facility access. And this does not mean access to your facility. This means access. Did somebody say something there? All right. Next one is facility access. So this doesn't mean access to your facility. This is access to their facility, such as doing a table event or doing an event in exchange for like an email list or facility, an email list, phone number list, text message list, anything like that. And these should be set up in high traffic areas. And so you guys have probably done this. Maybe if you've done a pre-opening for your business, you've probably already been somewhat familiar with this, but there's some other things that maybe you haven't thought about. So grocery store is one that we suggest. Now, I would not suggest like your big box, like grocery store, like out here we have Ralph's, right? What we want to think about more is like the boutique grocery store, kind of like your Trader Joe's or your Sprouts, because somebody that's going there is typically going to be a bit more health conscious. They're probably also going to be paying a little bit more for their groceries as opposed to somebody that's going to the regular, discount grocery store. So it makes them closer to being in alignment with who your target consumer is. Another good one is trampoline parks. Chris did this with his team. And look, some of these like facility access ones, you might get these to work with these people for absolutely nothing. Like they won't ask for anything in exchange. And then in some cases, they might ask for something in exchange, such as, hey, can you email your customer list about, our event or this promotion that we have going on? Be willing to make that kind of value exchange because they are giving you something in exchange, because the two things we want is either leads or access to their customers in some fashion, facility access here. The trampoline park was one where, Chris, they actually did not, the trampoline park did not ask for anything in exchange. So what they did was, for the few hours that they blocked off there at the trampoline park, if you've been to a trampoline park, you're going to take your sneakers off and you're going to go jump on trampolines, but you have to have socks, right? If you don't have socks, you have to buy socks. So what Chris and his team did was that for the few hours that they were there, they bought everybody's socks that came in, or excuse me, more so the kids. They bought the kids' socks, which cost them like $2.50 per pair of socks. But every person that they gave it out to, they collected the parents' information. I think we'd all agree here that typically parents are usually our ideal customer. You know, they're in between the ages of like 30 to 50 years old. Those are the kind of people that we want to be exchanging information with and reaching out to. Next is Chipotle. This sometimes can be a little like hit or miss. Not every Chipotle is going to want you to do like, you know, do this kind of thing here, but it can be done. But think about fast food places where the food is, you know, could be healthy for somebody. I know that if I need something healthy on the go, I would pick up Chipotle, get it like, you know, with no burrito or anything like that. Ice cream, like on a hot day, you're typically going to have like parents bringing their kids there, popular car washes. Pizza drive-through is a funny one. This is one that Chris and his team did. This can be like a 50-50 kind of mix of things. But what they did was they went to a Little Caesars and they set up a situation where they were going to hand out the pizzas that people were ordering from Little Caesars. Little Caesars was happy to do this because they didn't have to do the work of handing out the food. And in turn, when they gave everybody their food, they're like, hey, have you been to our gym before? We'd like to set you up with a free pass, and collect their information and reach out to that person. High school sports teams, I feel like a lot of you here probably have been approached by high school sports teams, you know, the teams of your kids, of your members' kids. It's okay if they're going to approach you for anything over here, but always thinking about the mutual value exchange. If the high school team is asking you to sponsor them, which I'm going to come in a second here, but if they're doing anything with them, we always want to make sure we get a value exchange. Hey, if I'm going to do this, can I set up a table at every one of your home games to be able to collect information and promote what we have to offer here? Coffee shops are another good one. If you're willing to pay for coffee in this day and age, you probably have some disposable income. And then special sales and events. Think about like your farmers markets and things like that. That's another great place where we want to be able to set up a table and get foot traffic. And we always want to be there. The goal is not to create awareness. Right? We're not going there so people know more of our name. We have to be collecting information. So when you're doing any kind of facility access type event, we want to, number one, think about doing something that grabs their attention, something that kind of excites them. If you've probably been to any kind of like fitness expo before, you'll notice like you're walking around and you hear people like just counting. You're like, what the heck is going on? And you go over and there's somebody's doing like a burpee competition or a pull-up competition or something like that. We want to create something that creates attention, that gets people to pay attention to what's going on, what we have going on, and look to do something that either one option is to give out a free trial pass and collect their information. The other is to do some sort of giveaway, and now you're collecting information. Always do something that is collecting information. Our goal is not to be, in this case, once we are at these events, it's not to be known, it's now to collect information. If we're not getting leads, we're not doing our events properly. And so when you're doing events like this, you can either be collecting information. Alternatively, what you can do is you can create a QR code. I'm assuming most of you here probably use LoopSpark to a certain extent. Create a QR code. So when the QR code, when they scan it, it takes you right to a LoopSpark landing page. And then in that landing page, they submit their information, name, email, phone number. And the way we want to follow up with these people is just like any lead, we have to hit it hard in the beginning. So this is just a sample of how you would want to reach out to the person. Hey, Susan, it's Dave from XYZ Gym. It was great meeting you at our table or at whatever the event was. And I'm excited to have you try us for 1 day free, 7 days free. Are you able to come in tomorrow, or is the day after better? And then we want to create a task for this that we are going to call this person day 1, day 2, day 3. And anytime you call somebody, always call twice in a row. It's just a little hack. If you've seen a local number call you twice in a row, you're more likely to pick up the phone. So again, text them day 1. You're also going to call them day 1, call them day 2, call them day 3. And then day 3, we want to fire off one more text. We always want to pull on the emotions here and pull on the familiarity, right? So, hey, Susan, it's Dave from XYZ Gym. We met at our table event a few days ago, and we set you up with 7 days free. I called a few times, but seems like I may have missed you, but no worries. Does this week still work well for you when you come in? Number 1, the name that you're using in your messages here should be ideally the person that they met on the event, right? We want to play on the emotions here that they did meet this person. We met at our table event. Be specific about where they actually met you. So now they're like, again, we're pulling more and more on the emotion of when they actually met you. And then the last piece here, it's like, I called a few times, but we don't want to make the person feel bad, right? I called a few times, but it seems like I missed you, but no worries, and move on the conversation. I'm really just first 3 days of follow-up from here. Then after that, start spacing it out. Try day 5, day 7, day 10. You don't have to be as aggressive after that but the thing is, being aggressive when the lead is the hottest hit these people hard right after you get their contact information, because that's when their interest level is at their highest. And so sponsorships. So this is a fun one. Again, sponsorships should be about leads and not about awareness. Now, I'm sure you folks here have all been approached for sponsorships before. Tell me about some of the sponsorships you guys have been approached for in your gyms. And this is open up. You guys can go ahead and unmute. Victoria, make sure they're unmuted. Talking about some of the sponsorships you guys have been approached for in the past. Hockey brochures. Socials.
Passes for silent auctions for all sorts of charity events.
5K.
Awesome. 5K races. Okay. Swim team. So we've had a decent bit on this area over here. So here's the thing we want to think. How many times have we been approached for sponsorships and we just feel bad about saying no to them? Has that ever happened to anybody on here?
Yes.
Thank you, Robin. So here's how we want to think ahead on these kinds of things, so we don't put ourselves in a bad situation, because sometimes these sponsorships really just kind of like pull on our heartstrings, right? Now, look, if you want to just do something out of goodwill and you know that you're not really going to get much out of it because it's a good cause, that's fine, right? But we're really talking about this from a business perspective here, because look, we have P&Ls, we need to make money in our business, and we can't just be giving out sponsorship money all over the place. So anytime somebody approaches you about a sponsorship, of course, hear them out, but then say, awesome, well, we have an approval process, or we have an approval committee that we have to go through in order for this to participate. Let me go run this by them, right? And what I would suggest you guys do is you create an approval committee. This can be you and your team, and you're just having some parameters that you have set in place in terms of what makes a sponsorship worth doing. Obviously, the number one thing is really making sure that we can generate an ROI around this. But then it also makes it easy that if you have to come back and say like, hey, we couldn't approve this, this is the reason why, you can say that we have a specific sponsorship budget for every year and we've already used up that budget. Or we have a quota for the amount of sponsorships we can do in a year and we've already used up that quota. You know, are you going to be doing this next year so we can take down your information on this and look at it for next year? So just an easy way to help you deflect for when these situations come up that are not a good fit without you seeming like you're being mean. It allows you to have the right kind of parameters here. So number one, again, talk to your team about this. Sit down and think about like, hey, what is going to be a sponsorship that's worth us actually doing? What are the things like, what are the things that need to be present for us to be willing to do it? What are the costs that needs to be present for us to be willing to do it? And that way, when somebody approaches you, I'm like, great, we have an approval process in place for this. Let me go talk to our approval committee and see if this is a sponsorship that we can move forward. And then if it doesn't work out, you can always, you know, you can talk about your reasons why it did not work out, even if it's simply as like, yeah, it's just something the committee said that we couldn't do because we couldn't see how we can help actually get a clear return on investment on this. And most people are going to understand that when you say that. Next up is going to be joint ventures, right? So there's plenty of different opportunities with doing joint ventures. Number one being a social promotion, promoting an event or a partnership together. Oh, actually, I want to take a quick step back on partners. I want to take a step back on sponsorships, because I think I heard more than one person bring up the sponsorship for doing a silent auction or an auction, right? When you're doing an auction, a good spin on that is if they want you to, you're going to give away a free, let's pretend you're giving a 1-year membership to the gym for that, right? Sometimes you're going to just give that away and it's like, well, am I going to ever get anything? I'm just going to get this free member. A good way to spin that now is that, sure, in order for us to do a sponsorship with an auction like this, can we get a list of everybody that's going to be at the event after, so we can go ahead and reach out to them? And that's your first. If they're not willing to give you that, your fallback can be, well, then can I get a list of everybody that bids on my item? So that way I can reach out, of course, to the winner, but anybody else that did not, that did not win, I can offer them, 2 weeks free at my gym. Thank you for participating. So thinking about, we don't have to necessarily say no to things, but at least we know how to come back and say, how can we spin this so that it's beneficial, mutually beneficial to us? Social promotion. So in terms of joint ventures, so a good one to think about when it comes to social promotions here, you probably have, like, I've heard of like Fleet Feet, like those running stores out there. All these running stores typically are attached to like running communities, and they know the ins and outs of doing, 5Ks, different running events like that when it comes to, governments and local governments and everything like that. These are good opportunities for us to do a joint venture with them, a paid partnership. But again, when you're doing a paid partnership, it is not only just about awareness. Now, in terms of doing this, can we get a list, the contact information for everybody that is signing up for the 5K? I'll also be bringing my community to take advantage of it. And if that's not the situation that can be arranged there, again, it's like, okay, well then can we at least be setting up a table to have access to everybody that's going to be at the event? Next one's going to be exchanging collateral. Not the highest ROI one, but it's something that you can do, is setting up a lead box to advertise within another business. It can be, you set up a lead box. It can be a giveaway where, hey, win a free month to, our gym. You collect all that information. You collect all of those leads. You go ahead and reach out to all of those leads like that. Again, when you're doing anything like that, set a time limit on it. You don't want to just have your lead box sitting there forever and not getting anything. Set a time limit. Let's try this out for 30 days. Let's see if it's going to be worth us doing that and see what kind of value you can provide back to them. Joint event, think low costs, low manpower, and combining clients. So an example of this, I think, if you own, let's say you own a boot camp style studio, a good person or a good company to do a joint event with, even though it might sound like competition, they're really not, would be like a yoga studio. Right? Because we all probably, if you have a boot camp style studio, you have members that do other kinds of fitness activities. And this is an opportunity to combine your clients. And a joint venture in a situation like this is scheduling a specific day where they are going to come. Let's say the yoga studio is going to come to your gym, bring their clients as well. First half of the workout is going to be our boot camp style workout. Second half of the workout is going to be their yoga workout. And so you can exchange clients and then look to, of course, do the same thing on the other side with them. Of course, if you have a HIIT style gym, you're not going to go do a boot camp workout in a yoga studio, but there's still other things that you can do, talking about health, nutrition, everything around that arena. But most important, we have to make sure that we have trust with these people. We do not want a situation where we create this joint venture and they come to the gym, they don't bring anybody, and they just show up themselves trying to get customers. Or the other way around, when we try to go to their gym and it's like turns out they completely forgot that they were supposed to be doing this, or they did not actually promote the event themselves and are not showing up for you. So again, make sure you vet these people properly, take the time to establish a relationship, look to meet the person in person and know that they are a good person. Probably try to invite them to come try you out first before we actually take those next steps to properly vet them. And then lastly here is corporate partnerships. This is definitely one of the gold mines out there that I don't think enough people hit on. So think about this. There are employers in your market that, give away a membership with being an employee at that business. There's employers in your market that have budgets that are specifically for team building events. They want to do things to improve their business community. And so there lies an opportunity for us to step in and try to create a relationship with them. So number one, as usual, we want to think about low-hanging fruit. So look at your members and where do they work? And one thing I suggest you guys do is have a client intake form. If you don't have an intake form, just go to our website, GoPancham.com, scroll down, you'll see we have an intake form that you can download there. Intake form is really simple what you want to have. Obviously, their basic information that they're going to fill out. You'll have some questions that you're going to fill out there too, such as what are their goals, what are their challenges and everything like that. But the important one is to have employer. So that way, every new prospect that you get and every new member that you get, where every one of them works, so that when it comes time for a corporate partnership, you can look through these and you can see, oh, well, it looks like Susan works at that really big insurance company near us. Let me reach out to Susan and see if she can help connect me with the HR director over there so I can try to work on this relationship and leverage that member that you have and give them an incentive. It's like, hey, if you're able to help me create this relationship and we can turn into something, I will give you a month of your membership for free or 3 months of your membership for free, whatever you want to incentivize them with, but it's worth incentivizing them if we can get something out of it. So when we create these kinds of relationships, the objective, of course, is leads. And there's two different things that we can obviously do. We can host a corporate workout for them. And this is where the huge value exchange comes in because, again, they are spending money doing community building events. If they can leverage what you guys have going on and bring them into your community and do something specific for them, that's going to be a huge win. And the big win that we are really looking for at the end of the day here is one, we want to get members from them. That's obviously one of the biggest goals we can get. But there's other levels to this that we can potentially get part of, where they compensate, their members for coming to this gym. Like they give them a partial credit, or they completely pay for the membership when they come into the gym. And don't make the mistake when it comes to reaching out to these people. Again, it's a bit of a volume game. It's a numbers game. It's a follow-up game. Don't make the mistake of just sending one email to one person and hoping everything works out. Sometimes these relationships are going to take, 30, 60 days to work out. It might be an email conversation that's 30 to 50 emails back and forth. Don't worry about it. It's worth going through the legwork to get to that point. And then if all else fails, if you're really not getting anywhere with this specific person, this is not the most ideal situation, but ask them like, hey, what's the process of becoming an approved vendor? That's usually when they're going to like list you on their website. And it's like, hey, if somebody from this, if somebody from this business signs up, you give them 10% off. Again, you're not going to get too many people with that, but that's just kind of your last resort. And when you're looking at these companies to do these kinds of corporate workouts, a couple of things you want to think about. One, it's a team building workout for them. And with it being a team building workout for them, you do not want to include your members, right? Because you're likely not going to do the same workout that you would do for your members. You want to make it more fun, easier for those people to do. You want to make sure it's a good representation of their business, and they don't want their people coming in and, just getting destroyed. We want to make sure they have fun. So think about structuring your workouts as doing partner workouts or small team workouts, and then schedule this during your off hours, such as in the middle of the day, or like on a Friday afternoon when classes are done. Probably not on the weekend, because it's going to be a little bit harder to get people from a business to come in when they're not working. So you're ideally going to look to schedule this during the week when you have your normal scheduling. And last year, messaging, right? So when it comes to reaching out to these, call it HR directors, we want to keep it simple and not overwhelm everybody with information. Right. The goal of the outreach is to simply just get them to respond and say, yes, I'd like more information regarding this. So this is just a sample email that you can send somebody. Hey, Susan, my name is Dave. I'm the owner of XYZ Fitness Studio. We're located right down the road from you folks, and we have a few members that actually work at your company. As an HR professional, I know you're always looking for ways to bring more value and perks to your coworkers. We would love the ability to host a free team building workout for you and 25 others completely free. We're flexible with days and times. Would you be free Friday or Monday to connect on a quick call if you're interested? Or I'd be happy to schedule time to meet in person. If you're getting some traction here, I would definitely pounce on the opportunity to meet this person in person to move the relationship forward. And another one here is, like I said, first start with the warm network, start with your members. But if you've kind of exhausted your members, here's the hack on how to find these businesses. Go to Indeed, the job search website, type in your location, right? So I'm in Sherman Oaks, California, so I would type in Sherman Oaks. And then in the the job description area, put gym membership. Right? When you perform that search, you're going to see employers that give away a gym membership with being a member, not a member, but being an employee at that business. And that's going to give you your first short list of businesses I should go approach. Now you know the businesses. Let me just do some Google searching to find out who's the person, the person in charge of HR there. Let me do a LinkedIn search to figure out who is this person that I need to go to reach out to. And again, once you find this person, reach out to them, follow up, follow up, follow up. And so the last thing we're going to do here is play a little game of partner or pass. I want to get information from you guys to see how you grasp this information. Maybe we can improve these situations. So the first situation, Victoria, make sure everybody's unmuted. So a massage clinic down the road has offered to do a partnership with you. They would like to come in 1 to 2 times a week ongoing to provide an after workout massage for your clients. In return, they'll put guest passes in new client folders. Would you guys partner with this, or would you pass on this?
Partner.
Mhm.
I heard a lot of partners there. Would anybody pass? No? So I personally would pass on this. Why do you think you would want to pass on this kind of opportunity?
Too frequent. ongoing.
It's too frequent.
It's too frequent. That's one thing. They're coming in quite a bit. So it's kind of a little bit of a lopsided relationship.
I don't get a lead.
Exactly.
I don't know who they are.
You're not guaranteed anything in return here, right? Great. They're going to put your guest passes in their new client folders. How many people just throw out all the stuff they get in a new client folder, right? How could we take this? What would be your counter offer to this if they ask this? How would you turn this into something like, I will do this relationship if you do X instead?
I would probably ask if I could put a QR code up on a display maybe. So then the person has to type in who they are. I may get fewer. Well, I don't know. I may get more actually than I would the other way.
I would have them guest pass out, get their information, and have them give that back to you.
Yep, that's one approach. I think the approach that I would take here is that, sure, we'll go ahead and do that. Number one, let's structure this over a certain time period. We're not going to get married on this. Let's do this for a month. And for that month, can you email your clients about our specific offer, right? Leverage their lead list to get people over from you. That gets closer to a good mutual value exchange because they're going to come in and meet your clients. I have to find a way to come in and meet your clients as well. It's me physically coming in, or it's simply me leveraging your current email list, your lead list, and promoting the offer that we have going on to them. Right? Next partner or pass.
Dave, I have a question. Can we go back to that one for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
How does it work in terms of like being able to give our contact list to some other businesses? I have to look at how we're set up, but is that like, as long as they have said that they are getting information from us, like just to all of a sudden our members are getting inundated with information from other businesses, want that is maybe they don't, I don't know. I'm just trying to look at, I'm not explaining this correctly, but.
Yeah, but you're not going to give them your list, right? Like we're not going to give them everybody's lead contact info. If you're going to do something in exchange, you're going to promote their own thing like to your own email list. You have full control over your data. We're not giving away our data.
Okay. Gotcha. I was confused by that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good question. Moving on to the next partner or pass. Did somebody have something there? So partner or pass, a member's teenage daughter has come in and has asked for a $500 donation from their high school volleyball team. In return, the team will allow you to take out a one-page ad that goes in their program. Would you partner or would you pass? Erica always passes on these. Ivy, I saw your head nodding for a second there. Seems like you've been offered this before.
We have it, and now now that I've listened to the webinar, I'm like, should have passed on that. Yeah, one-way street. So yeah, and we can't collect leads.
One-way street. Yeah. Lindsay says she passes on this because she only gives $100 on these. Sounds like it's more of a $100 donation. So if you were approached by this, right? Again, it's a member's teenage daughter. It's something that you're like, oh, I'm getting pulled on my heartstrings over here. What could you say? Hey, I'm going to talk to my approval committee. Let me see what we can, let me talk to the committee about this. What could you and your committee come back and say as a counteroffer to this that would make it worth your time?
Maybe to set up a table at one of their games so that we could collect leads in person.
I love that. That's almost 100% what I was thinking, right? Depending on the size of the donation, could be like, hey, can I set up a booth at every one of the home games or, a certain amount of the home games so I'm getting access to the whole audience of people there. That's definitely 100% the way that I would go in terms of making that into a win. And let's hit on the next one. We have one more of these. So partner or pass. You've gotten in touch with a 250-person mortgage company within 3 miles of your location. The HR manager says, the best I can do for you is put your guest passes in our break room if you offer a discounted membership for our employees. Would you partner on this or would you pass on this? I guess this is a tough one. There's no wrong answers. Well, it doesn't hurt to try. Lindsay would partner.
I'd like to change the offer.
Oh, we haven't changed the offer. Somebody puts the audible over here. Sandy, what would you change the offer to?
Instead of just putting the guest passes in the break room, I'd love to see if I could get a list of the people's names so then I could personally like set out an automation to send out our offerings to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Boyd says, my yoga studio has been invited to a couple of corporate wellness fairs lately. Bigger employers having local wellness businesses come in and set up tables for a couple of hours in the afternoon. What would you suggest if we partner? Okay, we'll come back to that. I thought that was related to this one. We ask, Lindsay is saying, we asked to do a learn and burn where we bring lunch to do a workout. So yeah, on this one over here, as it stands right now, we would pass on this. One of the key reasons being is, well, they're asking for a lot in return, just giving out discounted memberships. And now I'm just giving out a discount for what? Like, I don't know what's going to actually come of this. It's kind of a one-sided relationship. And plus, if they're just going to put their guest passes out in the break room, if you guys have ever been in a break room, how many things are just sitting on the table and you don't pay attention to?
Mhm.
Right. So as it stands, this is not a relationship that's worth pursuing in this manner. Now, Sandy had some good ideas there. It's like, how do we turn this into something where you can give us some access to things? Can I come in and do a lunch and learn with your employees over there? And then any of these things that we're going to do, just like setting up the relationship, we want to set once you set a time frame on it, I would still set a time frame on what you're doing over here. So let's say like, okay, we agree that we will give a discount as long as you can come and let us do a lunch and learn, but this discount is only available for the next 60 days, right? Like if you're going to create any kind of passes or anything like that's going to be given out, because we don't want our discounts flying all over the place and somebody's coming in 6 months later or something like that, and maybe they don't even work at the place anymore. We don't want those kinds of things. So another key thing there is just putting expirations on everything that you're doing out there. So it creates urgency and that we don't have discounts just kind of flying all over the place. So I'm going to come to Boyd in a second here because I think that was our last one about, yeah, let's hear some ideas here. So Boyd is asking, my yoga studio has been invited to a couple of corporate wellness fairs lately. Bigger employers having local wellness businesses come in and set up tables for a couple hours in an afternoon. What would you suggest we do if we partner with these types of opportunities? I'd love to hear what anybody else thinks. Has anybody else been offered any of these kinds of opportunities? And Boyd, if you want to unmute and tell us any more details that you'd like to add.
Well, one was a law firm, one was a telecom. And one, actually, we did one a couple years ago with Costco.
Mm-hmm.
There's an urban one not too far from us in Vancouver that led to one new client. So I don't think I did it very well.
How do you feel like you executed it? How did you set it up? Did you just set up a booth? Can you give me some more information on why you think you only got one? And maybe how do you think you could have maybe gotten more?
I don't know. It was, I mean, I don't think it was a great fit. I don't think that a lot of their staff were super interested in taking yoga classes. There is kind of this like, for a Costco, it's kind of mini here in downtown Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't think there was a demographic was a great fit. The telecom company and the law firm both seem like better fits and, would have staff with more disposable income. I think we had some posters highlighting how, beautiful the studio is. And I just hung out and was chatting with people for the day. It was a few years ago. We're 9 years old. We were probably only like 2 or 3 at the time. So maybe my sales game wasn't as refined.
Did we get leads from it?
I wasn't collecting leads. So that's well, I might have been taking email addresses. I can't remember, but definitely that's something I would want to do for either of these.
Yeah. So number one, yeah, we have to make sure that do we believe that our ideal customer is going to be part of this community? Because if it's not, it shouldn't pass your approval committee process, right? Number two,
Right.
if we're doing any kind of event, we have to make sure that we're doing something to collect leads. And usually that means like we want to give something in order to get something from people's information, right? Of course, that can just be offering, hey, here's a free day pass, here's 2 weeks free to our gym. Or it could be a contest that you're doing where, hey, enter to win, 30 days free to our studio. Because now someone's like, if they're at least willing to participate in that, they must have some level of interest in fitness. And now there's going to be a winner announced, but now we're also collecting leads. And when it comes to collecting leads, I wouldn't just do email. I'd make sure we're collecting name, phone number, and email. So that way we can also, give these people a text, shoot them a call. Or not, shoot them a text, give them a call.
Yeah.
Yeah, the very important thing here, we've seen it with a lot of our clients, is we should never be walking away from an event and saying, well, that was good for brand awareness. I'm like, that's what you say when it didn't go well. Right? Like, we don't want to just create awareness. We want to make sure that everything that we're doing, we're getting leads from. So before you're looking at this is, number one, do I believe that this is actually going to have my ideal customer? Number two, do I think I'm going to get leads? If it's not passing those two things there, then it's not worth taking the next step of actually setting up and moving forward with that relationship.
Yeah. So you think something like I like that concept of having the a 30-day pass. You collect the name, number, email, and then just start following up, and then I guess offer some sort of discount. Our intro special is a pretty great deal. Maybe you start with the intro special, and if they don't bite, dangle a carrot, a discount on that, or
yeah, I mean, if you have captive people in front of you, what I've seen people do is make the intro offer a bit more aggressive than what you normally do. And like, let's say it's an event, right? It's like, This is an event only special, right? So normally our intro offer, I'm just going to make up what your offer is here. It's like, it's an intro offer, discounted month for $59, right? It's like, for this event only, if you submit right now, you'll get qualified to get, if you want to get them to sign up on the spot right there, it's like, hey, intro month is $39, or, everything is going to have a timeline based on it. This is what's normal. Event special only. If you do it today, this is what you're getting right now. If you want to buy now, or if you want to enter in this promotion, or like enter in this giveaway that we're doing, this is what the giveaway is specifically for this promotion. It's only exclusive to this event and people that are at this event right now.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And like I said, folks, if you have any questions, there's a QR code on the screen. If you scan that QR code, that'll take you directly to a link that's going to give you access to this whole presentation, all the scripts that are in it. So if you want to plug it into any campaigns or anything like that, everything is going to be accessible through that QR code below right there. Anybody there have any other partnership ideas, questions that we can help with? I don't think I have another page on this. If I don't have another page, I might have to pass it back to Christine. Now, that's the last page of it. Lindsay, does it always have to be the owner that goes? No, it definitely doesn't. It can be like your operations manager. Who are your key people, right? Like, think about, you want to be the mayor of your town, right? Like, well, who else can be the mayor of your town? Not your town, but like, who else can be the mayor, the representative from your business? So it doesn't only have to be you. It can be key team members, really the team members that like, these are my solid number twos, my solid number threes. I know they're going to be with me for a while over here. So it doesn't have to only be you. Key team members, definitely. Happy to help, Lindsay.